Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to podcast 25, our special, and he just isn't prepared for what's coming. He asked me, and I quote, bring a couple of questions. You know, I've been doing this for a couple of weeks, get some stuff together. And of course, at 5 minutes past about 1:30 to 1:45, I have nothing on Friday. So of course, I pick up my mobile phone, I call my Muslim brothers and sisters, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, I hope you're having a blessed Friday. And I said to them, look guys, I'm strapped for the next podcast. My boy, who's good on the economy, has got me to ask me to put a few questions. And I haven't got any. I really haven't got any. So they went, oh, don't worry, Yahya, we got you. So they gave me a 20-card point questionnaire for him. And one of my friends, who actually is a businessman, he's a mechanic, he's given an entire write-up. And Chris is like, I said a couple of questions! Alhamdulillah for the British Muslim community. He took one look at this.
I literally said a couple of questions, me thinking he's going to bring up a couple of things from Mr. Joe Blogs average, yeah. I think this bastard's more prepared than what fucking I am.
I know, I wasn't prepared. A'udhu billah, I make no claims. My brothers and sisters across the entire of the UK gave me tips.
Alright, let's get into this. What I think is going to be an absolute onslaught. But there you go.
The British Ummah.
Welcome, my lovely people. Welcome to the lovely
blue collar workers. Yes, thank you as always. I'm John, Shaun, or Yahya, depends on who you're asking.
I'm Chris.
And again, this special, we are talking about Britain's major budget, to be honest.
Yeah, the latest budget. I'm come down with a nice, lovely key bullet point breakdown of the budget, plus a lovely well, I'm going to say, I've got a video that's going to be running in the background on mute because it has quite a few good, lovely reference points that I've been using throughout the video. Which then this bastard will turn around and throw questions to it. So here we go.
Look, I told him the Ummah had my back. I was ill prepared Friday morning. And he still
this bastard uses brain for once. People, that's a rarity.
I pick up a phone and my Ummah, I need help.
Same using the brain. Alright.
Go on.
Let's get to it. Alright, I'll see. Lovely Rachel Reeves.
his best friend.
Has delivered our lovely UK autumn budget 2025. Firstly, done a breakdown of the lovely highlights. Income tax and national insurance. Obviously, a freeze on personal tax and national insurance thresholds continues to 2028, pulling more people into higher brands. Not just to 2028, it also expands up to 2031. So it's at the moment to 2028. After April, it'll go to 2031. Business investments, new 40% first year allowance for certain spending from Jan 2026. Main writing down allowance for planet/machinery reduction. Taxation, increased duties on tobacco, alcohol and gambling. Online gambling duty to 40%. Infrastructure and transport. Rail fares frozen for the first time in decades.
Irrelevant, they're too high as it is.
Yeah. DLR extensions confirmed. Property business rates. Relief for retail, hospitality, leisure sectors, mansions tax discussed. Capital gains, reduced relief for employees' ownership trusts. A little point that I put in, because I'll cover it more in detail in a moment. State pension increases. I think this is a good one. Definitely a plus for us, although it comes with obviously everything comes with this.
To be fair, the pluses that we've got here, Chris, are fucking garbage comparative to what we're getting hammered with. So to roll back on what you said involving the train fares, I was talking to a brother who lives in the north of the country, where he was talking specifically about how the train fares have been frozen. They're already monstrously too high for most northern communities.
I wonder why they're frozen.
They're already monstrously too high. Like, many of the northern English communities are having struggles to travel as it is. Most of them, unlike the south, do not use vast amount of cars. Like, the car usage in the south is much, much larger than it is in the north of the country. So public transport, things like trains and buses, are generally used more prolifically in the northern part of the country. And as he said, the freezing of the costs is irrelevant because many medium to small households have been pushed out of the fucking train services anyway. So, I mean, the freezing does nothing for them. It does absolutely nothing for them.
Right, first off, fiscal drag, effective income tax rates. Obviously, it's still frozen, continuing to 2031. Obviously, we get, after the initial tax free up to 12,570. After that, it's 20% tax.
Jesus Christ.
Until you hit the next bracket threshold of 50,000, 2,070, where it's 40%. And then,
why is any Briton under 100 grand paying fucking 40% tax?
And then when this is what I don't get, this is weird. Next two brackets are completely bonkers. As soon as you breach 100 grand a year, 60% tax.
Fuck me!
No, this is the backwards part, yeah? But then once you breach 125,000 a year, you drop to 45.
Oh, fuck!
Yeah. But that's obviously just the brackets explained so people know where we're standing. But you'd think a freeze would actually be good. This is something which is going to be a bit controversial and people are like, what the fuck? We would have actually been better off if we had a 1% raise.
Oh my God.
Because of the fact, literally, where most people sit in between the 20 and 40% bracket, or into the 20% bracket, should I say? Because obviously most people earn between 12.5 and £50,000 anyway. We're getting taxed more. More money has been taken from our pockets on the lower end bracket because of the current income tax rates. We would have actually been better if it balanced itself back out with the rise and everything else, rise and fall, the cost of living and everything else. We would have been better off just paying 1p more, and we would have been paying less.
Jesus Christ. But that's the whole thing, isn't it? She's done this by stealth. She's done this penny packing.
Yeah.
She's done this bit by bit. She's attacked our economical means by taking pieces of Britain's economy piece by piece by piece. And that's a fucking nightmare. It's a genuine nightmare.
It's literally, since 2021, our figures are disgusting. We're paying more tax than what you actually think. And he's even done. I'm not gonna lie, the video I'm referencing is from Martin Lewis. It explains obviously Chancellor's budget. We all know him as the money expert. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good reference point for anything that you want to know.
Yeah, no, the money. He's renownably known in the political circles, the money expert when it comes towards understanding the budget, the finances, and the cost of living here in the UK. I mean, as I was explaining to Chris, after the conversation I had the Friday just gone, the budget has attacked entire sections of what I consider my brothers and sisters, and those that I know, both in the Midlands and the north of the country. And after a whip round of on social media, specifically on Instagram, I got a very clear view that the pinch is everywhere. That what Rachel Reeves has done has damaged the economical means and ability of all types of families. Now, I'm considered a bit of an intellectual. I'm not, but do you know what I'm saying? I'm considered that, even though I work in the blue collar. I've got friends who are small university professors all the way down to car mechanics. And I have a very eclectic group of friends, both on and offline, in both inside the Muslim Ummah and out of it. And from every single one of them, from the professor in one of the smaller universities in the north of the country, down to a very wealthy car mechanic, who Chris has met, the pinch is there. It's with everybody. It's economically fucking damaged absolutely everybody.
This is absolutely disgusting.
I mean,
for this video to carry on through.
So,
yeah.
One of the questions that was posed to me, specifically by Aisha, she asked, what is the biggest spending priorities in the latest UK budget? In your understanding.
The main points. Well, literally the main three starting positions. I'm glad you've done that because the fact it's literally bring it straight up. Yeah. The first one is obviously state pension rise, confirming as going up by 4.8%, which means if you was on the full old basic state pension, you get an increase of £439 a year from 9,060 9,615, obviously to 439.
Mm-hmm.
The new one, obviously bear in mind there's two ones. The old one goes up to 2016. The new one starts from 2016. So the new state pension goes up by 575 per year from 12,500. So you're basically, it's just disgusting. But literally, it brings it up that much. It is only £12 away from when you start paying income tax, regardless what you earn.
Jesus wept.
So literally, if you're on the new state pension stuff, new state pension bracket, and you've got extra income, so say for example, so you've got your state pension, then you got your own private pensions and everything else, you're going to be paying tax
on your pensions, which is a new to everything.
Yeah.
We've never paid tax. We haven't paid tax on pensions before, have we?
The thing was so low, so obviously basing it off the old old basic state pension, which has gone up to 9,615 a year. You still had about just under £3 to play with before you started paying tax again, which, if you've done everything right, so like mortgage paid off and everything and all that, all your ducks in a row, you wouldn't exactly break it anyway. Obviously, the second main budget changes, obviously, this is where I have a feeling most of our money is going to be going in the future. They've lifted the two-child benefit on the universal credit. It's been scrapped.
You see, now, I have two minds about this.
Yeah.
And let's dive into this one, Chris. I have a point of we need to improve our population. We need to improve our birth rate. So in a birth rate point of view, yes, that is not necessarily a bad thing. My problem is we do not have enough Britons. I'm not being racist here. I don't give a fuck about their skin colour, creed, etc., etc. There aren't enough Britons having children. So the cap, is it an encouragement towards protecting what children we are giving birth to in the UK, to rely less on migration? Because this is a very key point of view. Migration, I don't consider migration a bad thing, nor does Chris. We think it's sustainable. When it's sustainable, it's controllable, and we need it. Okay, that's the general consensus we have.
This is very much a double-edged blade.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because at one point we do need to deal with our birth rate. And the two-child tax thing is a massive problem, benefit-wise. But at the same time, it is fucking expensive because the budget towards it is quite expensive, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, you got the lovely. Obviously, releasing it means incentivises people to have more kids because you got the funding there, and it will raise kids out of poverty. Yeah. Positive thing. Obviously increases the birth rate because of the fact we're on the low anyway. Negative.
It's expensive.
It's expensive, obviously for us, because the fact we're everyone's footing the bill. It encourages people to live off benefits.
No, that I agree with.
Yeah.
That I have a problem with. Because we need.
It encourages people, especially the ones that have the mindset of, I pop out a baby, I'll get paid. It encourages that, which is an extremely bad negative. We don't want that because of the fact it creates such a negative impact.
I think the idea that I like about it is specifically about the safety net for those that are trapped. Like, I've fallen down, my partner's hurt, he's off for 6 months, we've got a couple of kids, we're not going to be penalised with it. Once he's back in his health and he's back to work, that's what I think it should be used for. It should be like a catch net, not a permanent thing. And unfortunately, Labour doesn't do catch nets, it does permanent benefits, and it's proven that all over the country.
Obviously, the key bullet points, obviously it says under that, the child element will be paid to those with more than 2 children. Don't confuse this with the child benefit, the benefit cap. Obviously, next one is the energy bills, cut £150 per household on typical bill. What else being equal, reduction in unit rates of 3.4 kilowatts electricity and 0.3 pence at 0.3 kilowatt pence per gas. 75% of renewable obligations shifted to general taxation. ECO's schemed scrapped. Actually, to be quite honest, that ECO scheme scrapped is actually quite a good thing. because it's already been proven that trying to make us net zero is a fucking waste of time.
Net zero has damaged us. There's no question about that.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm all about obviously renewable energy, yeah, but I'm all about sustainable growth in renewable energy, which benefits everybody, yeah. And I'm going to be honest, it doesn't help when we could be turning around and making our net zero, get zero carbon emissions and everything else, or balanced books, only for Mr. Joe Blogg's China or Russia or Africa or wherever to completely offset it.
Yeah, no, of course.
So it's pointless. We should be maintaining
To
ourselves.
be fair, Britain's carbon footprint is not large enough for us to make an impact on the world. We're not. Our industry is not the centre of the world anymore. Britain needs to understand that. We have not been the centre of the world for a very long time.
So there you go. The main three things that our money will be being paid for is the state pension, obviously the funding of the 2-child universal credit limit being scrapped, and obviously cutting our energy bills. Because in fact, obviously, you can't cut stuff without obviously subsidising the companies for doing so. So those are going to be the three main things. Obviously, there's obviously going to be smaller things and whatnot. But I'm not going to lie, it's a bloody headache diffusing this budget. And that's just the start of it.
Assad, a chef, is how has the government balanced public spending with taxation this year? In your opinion?
Fucking hasn't.
And Assad is a chef from the Midlands, one of my Muslim brothers.
I want to get one thing clear. Balancing taxation is never going to be plausible with the Labour government. They're more about taking the fucking tax and balancing the taxation. So, and the proof is in the pudding when they're literally on the freezing of the... I forgot how we just talked about it. So much...
The freezing of what?
Income tax.
Income tax, okay, yeah.
Freezing it is only going to benefit them by taking more money out of the lower end spectrum.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, literally, balancing taxation means everyone pays equal amount of tax. And the way they're doing it, it's not going to happen. The only way that you'll turn around to pay an actual fair amount of tax is if everyone turns around and starts earning more than £125,000 a year. And
that's the problem. We don't have people doing £120,000 a year. They're in the top. Well, what is that? That's like top 15% tops of the country.
Yeah, that's cool. That's in the top of your field. Yeah, bracket. Yeah, and that's just starting off. Let alone anything else.
Outrageous.
So literally, balancing the tax is absolutely not going to happen. The only way that's going to happen is if we scrap the tax system and rebuild it.
As me and Chris have said in numerous times, Britain, the tax system is 110,000 pages. It is too large. As me and Chris have said, Labour creates new taxes. Tories create a tax system where just their mates benefit from not having them, or they get given riders. And that's how the convolution of our tax system operates. And remember, Nigel Farage wants to continue that system just for his type of racist mates instead of the normal Tory mates, which is a standard procedure.
And based on that, obviously us saying we need to scrap the tax system, and I know some are probably thinking, how would you do that? Or should I say, what percentage of tax would you incite upon everybody, and what brackets?
We had a really rough formula.
Yeah.
Me and Chris. You make less than £1 million, you pay one tax bracket. Around 20-25%-ish with the numbers. You drive away all the writers, you take away all of the criminal, what I consider criminal laws, it's legal to do so, that allow companies to pay absolutely pennies for pounds in their tax returns. Every industry and person that makes more than £1 million, they pay the second tax bracket. Now, the second tax bracket shouldn't be in the 60% like it currently is. It's a monster. No one wants to pay 60% of their earnings if they're making £1 million.
Technically, that's the third tax bracket at the moment.
Is it?
You got the 20%, which is the first tax bracket.
Okay.
40%, which is the second. Third is the 60%. Fourth is the 45%.
Okay, now. It's outrageous. You've got 4 tax brackets. You only need 2. One above $1 million, one below $1 million. And you get rid of riders.
This is where me and him will debate. I'm going to say debate. More likely bitch each other until we decide what percentage you should pay on each. Me, under $1 million, 30%. Over $1 million, 40-45. But the reason I say that is because I'd scrap every other form of tax.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You'd argue where the 2 tax brackets are. You'd hash those out. You'd have 2 tiers. One. So even if you're like, so incentivise you. Say we take Chris's advanced one of 30%. 30% for everybody under £1 million. It incentivises you to make that £100,000 job.
Yeah, bear in mind, I'm going based on this because in fact, by the time you've actually done your calculations, it's a 20% tax, then plus the council tax, road tax, the duty tax you pay on all your food, drinks, fuel, and everything else. It has actually already been worked out. You're north of 45% paying tax. Yeah. So for the ones that I say that's too high, I'm actually cutting your tax by 15% minimum straight off the bat.
I want to go further. I want the working class to have at least a 20% tax bracket.
That ain't gonna happen until the debt's are paid. Because it's the only way it works. You'll have to take would have to jump up by how much tax would pay straight out of our paycheck, but that'd be the only bill of tax you would pay. There'd be no others. There'd be none of this council tax, none of the road tax, nothing else. It'd just be one tax bill. Hence the reason why I'm like just 2-tiered. Simple, clean, precise. None of this faff of, if I do this, I could turn around and claim that back and everything else and blah, 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 blah. Get rid of the fucking tax on everything else. You just pay one tax, that's it. That covers your basis.
Next question, Chris. Abdul, engineer from London, asks, which section appears to benefit most from the budget?
The elite.
Oh, he went there.
And the corporations.
Jesus Christ.
I ain't gonna pull the fucking goddamn punches. I ain't gonna pull them. Fuck no. It's called honesty. Simplicity. The only way you benefit at the moment with the tax system is if you become in that lovely top 5 to 1%, where you're literally you get to the point where you're sat on your ass and your money's just rolling in from the amount of fingers and pies you got, and all the back alley criminal laws that allow you to claim tax or tax breaks or anything else. That's the only way you benefit from the system at the moment.
No, you have to have your own accounting company.
Yeah. That's
literally how you have to be. You have to have your own accounting company.
And I'm sorry to all the accountants, because once
your industry's dead anyway. No. AI will wipe out your industry is dead anyway. We need to put this out there. People who say that I'm attacking the accounting industry, I remind you the accounting industry will be murdered stone cold dead in 5 years by AI. I say we wipe out the bracket that allows corporations to use these loopholes before and gently then lift the accounting industry's working class into other roles. We should get ahead of that fucking curve, because that industry, like many of the white collar industries, is being erased in front of our eyes within 5 years of AI. I mean, that's unavoidable.
I would go into further, but AI is a completely different subject.
Yeah, no, it is, but it does affect budget and taxing. Yeah. But specifically around accounting, the accounting industry is going to die. It isn't something I want. It is a reality of the advance of AI technology will lead to one of those industries being, IT and white collar industries are being annihilated by it right now.
Yeah, literally, obviously carry on with our viewpoint of obviously the new tax system. That 30 for under $1 million and 40/45 for over $1 million. That's just on your person. Then you come to the corporate side.
Oh God.
I'm going to keep it simple, just 5% on top of what the personal was. So 35 for under $1 million, 50 over $1 million. I would change this over time. The only reason I would have it so high to start off with, because I'm not going to lie, people, we are in stupid debt.
We are.
The Britain is in stupid debt.
4 trillion?
Yeah, we're in the trillions. Yeah. So my first priority would be to sort that tax system out, and then turn around and deviate the expenditure accordingly. Because the fact with everyone paying their tax correctly, no dodging, no legal tax breaks or anything else.
My apologies, 2.9 trillion.
Yeah, it's still in the trillions. It's far too much. It should be millions, not trillions. Yeah.
Well, billions if we're doing a significant labour and stuff like that. There's a good argument to have. We shouldn't be in debt by more than a few billion.
Not even that. If we're in debt by a billion by the time I finish ruling, I'll consider that a failure. We should be in the millions, not the billions. And I'm a hard ass on finances. Yeah. I would make sure all our ducks are lined up. So making sure there's adequate money going to the NHS, obviously the benefit system and everything else. The benefit system is a complete and absolute terrible minefield. It's just something else which needs to be reformed and simplified because it's just far too complicated.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you guys would like me to have a look into that and come up with a simplish plan of how to...
How do you simplify fucking tax system in the UK without abolishing huge sections of it?
No, not tax system, the benefit system. The simplish plan, simplish
You'd
ideal
be the
plan.
kind of person who say if someone's been on benefits more than a year, you probably want an investigation to see why they haven't moved to work.
There'll be several clauses. I'm not going to lie. I would literally stick you into brackets. So it'd be a case of the fact if you're unemployed, you get so much for this. So this amount of time, then it'll decrease over time till you get a job.
Damn.
Straight off. There's no pussyfooting around it. I'll cover your bills to start off with probably for about 6 months, and after that I'll start dropping the bills. I'm not footing you. I don't care. When it comes to obviously people that have got obviously disabilities.
Which is that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
If we had the right equipment and time and training for disabled people, we could get the disabled people into work. We could get them doing the important jobs like library jobs. Most of our IT work could be farmed out to the disabled. Do you know what I'm saying? That's where we should. And I know that sounds cruel that we should label an entire section of our population.
I was literally going to
but
say.
If they can't do the physical labour works that we do, the able-bodied people do, we should turn a whole industry. It admittedly might be a dying industry, the IT, the intellectual, the white-collared, over to the disabled community who can use their minds that are still sharp and abled to do those kind of work.
I was literally going to say work from home.
Yeah, that too.
Because that would be a more benefit thing. Obviously, when it comes to obviously helping families out, regards to obviously children. See,
children benefit. I'm the opposite of you in this regard. I think to beat the argument about the declining birth rate and the great replacement argument, I say we need more effort provided for women and children and the growth of our population.
I see. I'm all up for obviously increasing the birth rate. But I also believe we need to make sure we put safeguards in place that people don't take the piss.
Yeah, there is that.
So, say for example, just off the top of my head, you get fully funded if needs be for 2 kids. Then for every child after it's halved. So say for example you get five. I don't know quite the number because I ain't quite looked into it because I ain't got kids. So it's a bit of a grey area for me, unknown area. Say you get £500 per month per child. Yeah, it's help. Yeah, you get that for the first 2 kids. Then for the third, it's £250. For the fourth, it's £125. For the fifth,
it's about £17.25. £26 a week for the eldest only child, and £17.25 for each additional child. That's fuck all.
That is fuck all. Damn, I thought it was more than that.
No, Chris, it's a fuckload less than you think. I think that the entire the focus in the benefit system should benefit the growth of our population and increasing the amount of childbearing that is going on here in the UK for the benefit of the country raising its own population, because we do have a population of 1.3.
All right, because it's going to, I'm going to round it slightly down just to make it easier maths. So they're basically paying you £25 a week per child, so that's £100 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or double that for the first two kids.
Yeah, you'd have
so
to.
So that'll be £200 for your first kid, £200 for your second. Then it's £100 for your third, 50 for your fourth. Yeah.
But
and
still
then
giving you
25
if you
for
go
your
for
fifth.
Yeah. So there is a benefit towards
Yeah.
helping you to try and deal with these per month costs for the children.
The only reason I say that is because the fact if you're planning to have a big family, me cutting it every child you have after 2 incentivizes you,
or your partner, the person,
or your
the
partner,
breadwinner
yeah.
of part of
No,
family. We don't care if it's male or female. We're not like that.
Incentivizing the people having the children, yeah, to reuse what they had for the children.
Yeah, clothing passed down,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, that was standard procedure.
I don't want to embarrass my family, but that was normal at home from an Irish family. That was absolutely normal.
That's what I grew up with. Friggin', I had cousins older than me. If they had some clothes that didn't fit them anymore, they literally turn around. Do you like this? Does it fit? It's yours. There you go.
I fundamentally feel that the benefit system that we currently have for children is disgustingly low. And we need to mention that. Anyway, I've got another question for you. Brace yourself.
I'm hoping it's on. If it times out well with the next reel that's coming up, that'd be fantastic. But I have a distinct feeling it's not going to.
Abdul, who is an engineer, specifically in Norfolk, which sector appears to benefit the most from the budget in terms of the working sectors?
See, there's people that are going to say a variety of different sectors, but at the moment it's not going to be made 100% clear which sector until it's all in place. But it's still literally going to be on the high earners.
You still think it's the high?
So
you think it's the finances of the so
yeah.
Is financial sector you think is probably the best earner of them?
No, the high earners in any sector. So it's going to come down to income tax. So once you breach into that 45% bracket, you get a shit turd load of tax breaks.
Jesus Christ!
It's going to be the high earners. So literally, you say which sector, I say it's going to be your pay bracket.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's going to be your pay bracket, which determines how well you're going to do. If you're in the first pay bracket, which is what most people are, you're going to be stung through the asshole.
Yeah. Second pay bracket, it gets harder.
Second pay bracket, bit of an ease. Yeah. Third, destroyed. Fourth is where you really start seeing the change.
Yeah, because it takes a chunk down.
As a reminder, that's 125 grand plus a year. Hence the reason why it's going to be the high enders.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
so literally, you say which particular sector, it's going to be based on your age.
Oh my God.
Because I know for a fact there's going to be high earners in all sectors. So retail, hospitality, blue collar workers, management, financial, clerical, doctors, nurses, everything else. As soon as you start getting into those higher earned brackets, that's where you, as I call it, the speciality brackets. That's where that's the ones that are going to benefit, because then you can start turning around and getting those tax grabs.
Jesus, I mean that's fucking stark. When it comes towards the budget, I always find that not enough of it is explained to the UK people. I don't think we talk enough about it. We have newspapers that get angry about it, and they hyper focus on one section or another, or they disagree about how benefits scroungers. Now remember, me and Chris are very much double-edged knife when it comes towards benefits. Benefits that help lift children out of poverty is something we support. Benefits that involve people who are able-bodied to work, single, don't have kids, the NEETs. Did you hear about them? It's a terminology that's used these days. It's called the NEETs. I need to work out what that is.
Did you say the ones that don't work?
Yeah.
That's what I said, the ones that, like, I'll get paid for popping out a kid.
No, NEETs. Young people, typically 16 to 20, who are not in education, employment or training. There's 1 million of them in the UK's benefit system right now.
Damn.
With nearly 1 million recorded recently, representing about 1/8 in that age group. So we're talking 16 to 24-year-olds who aren't working, aren't in education, and aren't training for any job. And there's 1 million of them in the UK. The question that was asked to me by another friend, very north of the country in Edinburgh, he asks, what would you do, Chris, specifically as you'll be on me asked, involving encouraging or spurring the NEETs, the 1 million teenagers, because that's what they are, 16 to 20-year-olds, not in education, employment or training? How would you stimulate those 1 million?
Cash rewards for achieving certain milestones. So say, for example, if we're struggling in a certain sector, that we need people, stick them in apprenticeships, and once they turn around and get...
So basically you turn around and say...
You reward the positivity of going into apprenticeships. So say, for example, we need nurses. You get whoever wants to go into it into...
946,000 is the exact number of them.
Yeah. Get whoever wants to become, help people into that sector. And then once they complete their full training, got the certificate and everything, so
that can now be actually employment role.
Yeah, at least I would say diploma level. Yeah. Obviously, diploma level varies from each type of job. You then get a cash reward bonus.
The mental health question. How would you approach how NEETs say that they don't go to work because of the mental stress and anxiety of going to work? Polite now, Chris.
I'm thinking.
Because I know the way his mind works. We've been friends for over a decade. The look on his face and everything. This is not what he would say to me in person.
I'm going to give 2 answers. Yes, the as I call it, what most people refer to as the correct answer, and my personal answer. All right, start with the correct answer. You would encourage, provide the support, and give them the tools and whatnot so they can vent and explain how they're feeling to professionals. So like psychiatrists, therapists, support workers, that sort of field. So they get the encouragement to be pushed forward and everything else. Personal. Get on with it, you bunch of fucking muppets.
They represent 12% of that fucking age bracket. 12%, Chris.
I say get on with it, you bunch of muppets. The only way to get through it is to push through it.
Oh yeah, completely.
I know some people are like, no, but it's harder to do than anything else. I know it's hard. How did you think we all started?
The millennial and the Gen Xer do not feel like this is easy. It has not gotten easier for us. We are still doing full-time jobs right now, paying for our podcast.
It's not easy. There is always going to be challenges. The only way to try and do it is to step up, take the beating, and keep moving. Was famous line from Sylvester Stallone in Rocky.
It isn't how
hard you get hit.
It's how hard you get up.
It's how many times you get hit and still keep going on.
Yeah. And it's true. It's a very true statement. And I think someone should be accredited for that. But involving NEETs, which represent 1 million fucking people. Nearly 1 million fucking people, Chris.
You would have to incentivise. The only way to incentivise is by money these days.
I'm kind of...
Also, I'm not saying like extortionate amounts of money.
No. A reward for getting to where they're going.
A reward. Say, for example, you can either do it as a one-off payment or turn around and say for the next 2 years, you get a 5% plus bonus on your wages for completing it.
Would you raise the level of payment for training in the traditional apprenticeships? Plumbing, engineering, building... Because the payments for apprentices of those are fucking dirt bad at this point.
But this is where you need to balance it correctly, because obviously apprenticeships, all the training is paid for by the company which does it. So you need to make sure that you're not bankrupting the company whilst the training is done.
No. I mean government support for apprenticeships. So basically, I'm a 16-year-old. I want to become a plumber. Britain doesn't have enough plumbers. Christopher Bailey, the Chancellor, how much do you give me extra to become a plumber?
How much is it at the moment?
But it's a 16-year-old's basic minimum wage. It's about £125 a week. It is fucking disgusting.
Double it.
See, now that's it. A 16-year-old goes off to be a plumber because he's had his fucking money doubled. The Chancellor says, we need plumbers. You're willing to be a plumber, but you're worried about the cost. I'll double that money.
£125 a week for apprenticeship, that's £500 a month. Double it, that's £1,000.
Now the apprentice, even though apprentices tend to live at home still, and I understand that, but we need to incentivise to moving people towards it. How do we generate...
The reason I say that is because that gives them a taste of what the money is to come.
Plumbers make amazing
I was going to say, because once you're fully qualified, you're rolling in it.
I'd like plumber money.
But also then turns around and gives you a decent wage to turn around and build...
and a business, because they become something.
Money... Oh, I'm trying to think of the word. I'm going to say money sensibility. I can't quite... Money budgeting.
Money budgeting.
Yeah.
No, they learn that from when they're apprentices as plumbers.
But also, because obviously there's apprenticeship and everything where you're doing money budgets with company assets and then budgeting with your own. Two completely different fields.
Mohammed from London, IT accounting. How does the budget address the inflation and cost of living pressures here in the UK?
Doesn't. Let's just put it straight. It doesn't. Not even think whatever they got in place will not cover what the fuck's going wrong.
The system is cracking under the weight of the inability and incompetence of political leadership right now. And everybody who cries over people like Nigel Farage that he'll fix the system, remember that's a man whose current political leadership is made up of ex-nasty Tories, who are the same people who fucked us over for 14 years.
I want to get this thing one thing really clear. The press have probably covered it, but it's probably just been to grab your attention. This budget is a pure tax grab.
Yeah,
it's nothing else. There are parts which are beneficial, and they're trying to promote that more. They're going to obviously get on our good side, but underneath it's a tax grab. It is a pure and utter tax grab.
Yeah, no.
Before you do the next question,
go on.
Obviously, budget changes that are starting from April 2027. So this is first one's about obviously ISA allowances remains at 20,000 per year.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I would call that a stall because of the fact, obviously, with the cost of everything going up and everything else, that needs to raise with it. Anything that gets halted is not adjusting for the current market. I know somebody say, but what if it goes down? But then that's adjusting to the current market. We need to adjust to the market. We don't adjust to the market. Everything goes to everything. It doesn't balance. The books don't balance. Hence the reason why I said we would have been better off with income tax going up by a penny. I know that means Labour would have broken the manifesto, but we would have been better off for it.
Financially, we would have done.
Yeah.
That would have when in comparison to this current tax bracket group we got here, no one likes the idea of tax going up. No one, especially not me and Chris when we've got to pay for it.
But you got to bear in mind, obviously there is a fine line balance. You got to make sure you get it right. If you keep freezing income tax, the only thing it's going to affect is the people in the lower tax brackets. Let's get that right, people. That's the one thing that I've come to realise after looking at several articles all spewing the same bloody things. The more it's froze, the more we pay. If it doesn't change accordance with the times, accordance with the markets and everything else, we pay more. It is as simple as that. But obviously budget changes, obviously with the ISA allowances remain at 20,000. But max cash ISAs down to 12,000.
Jesus.
That means the amount of cash you can put into a normal cash ISA is tapped out at 12 grand. You don't get any more bonuses after that. But apart from those aged 65 plus, which will still be able to put 20 grand into a cash ISA. Only impacts new money being put in, not money already in ISAs or in transfers. ISA. Income tax on savings, property and dividend will increase by, it doesn't help when this hand's in the way, 2%. So if you pay tax on savings or property income, the new rates will be 22, 42 and 47. Dividend tax raised to 10.7. 35.7% will be the additional rate stays at 39.35.
Bloody hell.
Plan 2 student loans repayment threshold to be frozen.
Well, see, I don't understand why they keep freezing the stuff. I genuinely don't. I think the freezing this does not solve our problems. No. We have to get to the root cause of our problems. Our problems are that the corporations of the UK are not paying enough fucking goddamn tax. And the American, since we're talking about tax and budget, the American industrial giants are barely paying any tax here in the UK. Amazon pays near fuck all, Facebook doesn't, Instagram doesn't, X doesn't. The tax system that's going on in the IT giants here in Britain is a joke. And yet they make absolute fucking fortunes on the UK.
On that point, obviously the corporation, you turn around and say, I know some people are going to be thinking this, but if we start making sure the companies pay their correct tax levels and everything else with the new system we're suggesting, does that mean the price of products will go up? More than likely. But then you've got to remember, I've eliminated the tax on those products.
You see, Facebook paid the UK tax 43 million this year in 2023, down from 126 million the previous year.
That's a tax break. Hence the reason why I said the only people that are going to benefit it, not a particular sector, it's going to be the high earners.
Oh, absolutely. Facebook literally pays fuck all corporate tax. Absolutely fuck all corporate tax. Because everyone puts their offices in places like Ireland. And thereby say they pay their taxes via Irish. Because remember, there are loopholes, lawful loopholes, legally abiding loopholes here in the UK. And they drive me up the fucking wall that these are allowed to continue to exist.
Right, obviously, regarding the budget changes, they start April 2027. So the thing I would say to you is obviously, this is mainly changes to what you have saved. Yeah, whether that's money in properties, obviously ISAs, cash ISAs, and all that sort of stuff. I would say research everything and plan accordingly so you still remain in profit, balanced, still gaining money, whatever your goal is regarding obviously your savings. So the new stuff does not affect you. You need to make the adjustments and everything else. And regarding obviously the student loans, obviously student loans still need to be paid. Freezing it could be a good thing if you're on the lower end of it, but for the higher end, it's a
I think the idea of freezing any student loans is a bad idea, because that balloons the debt of Britain and the tax-paying working people. I paid my own fucking student loans off. I'm very much. I realise you didn't go to uni, Chris, but I'm telling you, I'm dead set against university leavers jumping on the American bandwagon. All right, my degree, my history degree has no bearing on the work I do nowadays. My degree in history does absolutely nothing for.
I'm glad you turned around and brought that up, because I firmly believe, regardless of what degree you got, you should be paying it back, even if you're not in the field.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I know for a fact that if you're not in the field, you don't pay your student loan back.
That's bad. I did.
But when you're not in the field, certain things. Yeah.
The fuck, that's wrong.
Yeah.
I fucking paid my student fucking debts off. Bastards! When did that come in?
I'm not good. They might have eliminated it now or like done it for a certain amount of time. But I know at one point, if you didn't directly go into the field that you studied in.
Are you sure that's British? That sounds fucking criminal. Oh, the billah! I only paid that off. Do you know when I started working for you in our last place? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those were the months that I was just finishing my student debt.
Damn.
In my fucking mid-30s.
But then I don't think students should have fucking debt anyway. Because guess where some of that tax money is going to go? To education.
Yeah, no, I see the point there. Omar, corporate assistant. I don't even know what the job corporate assistant is. From Leicester. What changes were made to income tax or national insurance at a national level, and does it benefit us?
But that was our very first point we discussed.
So the answer is no.
No, it don't.
Some of these questions might copy themselves. I apologise. I only labelled them out as I put out the call and got them back. So don't bite me for this one. Better one. British gentleman. Mark Blanket, security guard in Edinburgh. Does the budget provide enough support for the NHS?
No.
That question, goosh, that's an easy one. There's a white man asked that question. Nice, easy question.
I know they're piling money into it, but they ain't piling enough money into it, and they ain't putting the money into it in the correct manner, as I call it. They ain't financing what they need to be financing for the NHS, because at the moment they're trying to obviously bail in. They're pouring money into it to get it out of the black hole that it's in.
Yes, 14. I mean, it's not wrong to say that there is 14 years to fuck up from the Tories. We know the previous prime ministers. Remember, the last. If we go back in reverse, Rishi Sunak was the last decent Tory prime minister we had. We can at least argue that he was actually competent. He arrived at the back end of a really fucking shit setup. Rishi Sunak was probably our only decent prime minister of Conservatives we've had when we're talking economical wise.
So let's not sugarcoat it. Literally, obviously the government trying to privatise the entire NHS. They were trying to copy the American plan, and the American plan is just fucking stupid.
The American health service is falling apart.
Yeah, it's just stupid because obviously it involves you paying a certain thing. You don't make a payment, or you lose all your services. It's absolutely ridiculous. But it's in a black hole because they're trying to privatise certain sectors because they're not funding it correctly. They're literally I reckon they're literally pouring money into it to pay interest off on shit that they owe on it.
That I totally believe.
When instead they need to be turned around and paying more money to maintenance and bringing all the equipment back up to date and in decent working order, and training. You need to be training people, because in fact, if you don't train, you're not going to have that workforce there to replace the workforce that's leaving. And the workforce is going to leave even faster if things ain't working correctly or there isn't a proper system in place.
Jesus.
So, are they doing anything to help the NHS? The only thing they're doing is keeping it afloat at the moment. I have no idea how they're spending the money. It's probably one thing I'm going to have to look into at some point. But they're not keeping it afloat.
Damn.
Well, I should say, they're keeping it afloat, but not progressing it. You need to progress it. The only way to succeed is to progress.
Yeah. So
I know some people,
forward.
You do need to treat the NHS like a business. Because of the fact, if you
But
don't...
you need to stop selling off parts of the fucking thing. Because when it worked when it was centralised in what it was doing.
When I say treat it like a business, you need to make sure it runs like a business. Yeah. You're paying money into it, so you need to make sure it works efficiently to get what you need out of it. Yeah. And this is one thing which I'll turn around and say, cutting staff in hospitals is not one way to make it efficient. That is a money-saving tactic. That is a corporation money-saving tactic.
Salman from Cornwall, tour guide. I didn't even know we had Muslim tour guides. How is the government trying to stimulate the economy growth? I assume he's talking around tourism itself.
When I actually see it, I'll let you know.
That's a blunt answer. My brother, I apologize. I didn't even know we had tour guides in fucking Cornwall. Muslim tour guides in fucking Cornwall.
Tell how much you go on fucking holiday.
When we see it, we'll tell you. That's a brilliant answer. Malik, Bristol City male nurse. What investments are being made in infrastructure or green technology to the best of your knowledge?
Well, I've seen is that by most of it, all their net zero stuff are either collapsing under inadequate results or lack of funding, or blatant just they didn't do the research correctly. Not enough. They need to change the path on what they mean by green energy.
We need more nuclear power reactors. Yeah, we definitely do.
This is one thing which people seem to forget. They see nuclear reactor and everyone thinks of Hiroshima and all that sort of stuff.
And all the other reactors that have failed.
Yeah.
But those reactor fails have decades between each other. And they are all in areas where the systems have been heavily stressed. unnecessarily for long periods for corporatization. If looked after carefully, nuclear reactors are some of the safest in the world.
Plus, our technology is advanced since then, and you can turn around and put the AI to use and have the AI manage the freaking nuclear reactor.
No. There are certain things I would not let a nuclear reactor fucking control, Shaen and Chris.
I said manage, I didn't say control.
There are some things I would not allow, categorically not allow.
There still will be human input and safety rights that need to be done, but the majority of the heavy lifting to making sure everything stays stable, put AI to the use of it. And make sure it doesn't learn.
You know, I'm not even comfortable with the idea of AI controlling a nuclear fucking reactor. Advisory body, no direct connections. I'm getting images of the Terminator coming in here. Run Terminator music.
Obviously, expanding into your question. They are funding green energy, but I don't think they're going in the right direction with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Solar, I do reckon solar energy is literally going to be one of the main forefronts going forward, but I think we need to utilize it better.
Okay.
Yeah. With one thing I've noticed is obviously with housing new builds, they are putting solar panels on roofs. That is a fantastic way of utilizing it better, because of the fact it's going on something which is already there that people are going to use.
Yeah.
And it's not becoming an eyesore by taking up massive loads of countryside just for some solar panels when you're chucking it on a house, on a roof of a house which is going to be built anyway.
Nice. Very nice.
And obviously, nuclear energy is a big one.
Obviously, nuclear, we're big supporters of nuclear energy in essence.
With obviously the advancement of technology and everything else, it is required. I'm sorry, it is. It doesn't mean you have to turn around and have one massive nuclear power station smack in the middle of Britain. You can have several smaller ones.
Yeah, well, these micro reactors they're talking about, which they're stringing together right now to act as an overall basis and to keep the need of the uranium that they'll be using to a minimal to avoid risk of cataclysmic meltdown. I think that's the idea behind it.
That's one reason why you should have a mini reactor.
Absolutely.
Because the fact you can then control how much, if the unfortunate thing happens of it going wrong and going kaboom, you minimise the impact.
Absolutely. Completely.
But then I would turn around and say, if you used to turn around and say, split the UK into sections where mini reactors control a certain amount of areas, but then have the reactor able to do double the amount of that area. So you're only ever using it at 50% capacity. Therefore, it's safer, easier to control. And then if, for whatever reason, your neighbouring reactor needs to go down for maintenance, the other one can pick up the slack without overworking it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Or have it run at 75 and then you have 2-3 other ones.
Are we carrying on, or you got things you want to...
No, carry on.
Okay. Kareem from Birmingham, market investor. How are small businesses and self-employed professionals directly affected by the budget? This
is regarding the national insurance contribution, because they keep raiding it continuously. And I'm not going to lie, it's fucking disgusting. It's putting a massive strain on people wanting to start businesses, because obviously they have to... I'm going to be honest, up until a couple of years ago, I didn't realise employers paid tax and national insurance for having employees.
Jesus.
Which is, I think that's just fucking wrong. Why the fuck are they? It's literally like, oh, hang on, we're taxing the people and we're taxing the corporation for the same thing.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Jesus.
They'll say it's art to do with company safeguards and everything else and making sure the company stays correct within the books and everything else. Maybe it's their way of trying to claim tax back of all those tax breaks. But why develop tax breaks if you go turn around and chuck something else on to tax them anyway?
Yeah, see, this is a fundamental. I think the tax breaks are our problem. The way that everybody and every company has their own little dodge. Me and Chris have said this many, many times. The only thing that you are guaranteed in this life, in this dunya, is taxes and death. That's it. Because everybody's going to pay taxes, whether it's us, whether it's the corporates. The idea that corporates should be given this unfair advantage is morally fucking bankrupt. Absolutely morally bankrupt. And the burden of tax is pushed more and more on us. Did you know that there's close to nearly 2.5 million young Britons, when they say young Britons, they're talking 22 to 30-year-olds, have left the country just in the last couple of years to live permanently abroad?
Are you really surprised?
Let's just quickly have a look at that. 256,000 this year. 256,000 this year alone, which is up 77,000 from the year before.
Mm-hmm.
That is just a telling point. And these aren't exactly, these are young professionals, Chris. Yeah. This is the young professional group of people leaving the UK.
Regarding, obviously, the question, obviously, how does it affect, obviously, self-employed people? It doesn't. Yet again, another freeze on personal tax allowance when it comes to, obviously, self-employed people. But it's going across, like, obviously, that's the personal tax allowance and everything else. Where I've already said the lower end ones are just going to get stung through the ass. Basic and higher rate of dividend tax increased from April. Basically means you pay more tax. It's straight off the bat.
Bloody hell.
Literally from April 2026, government will increase a tax on dividends by 2 points. So literally what you earn on your self-employed business will be an extra 2% charged on top. So this will rise from 8.7% tax to 10.75% tax.
Bloody hell.
And obviously if you're on the higher end, it'll go from 33.75 to 35.75. It's raising by 2 points. Which is 2%. So say for example, you earn 100,000. Well, I should say you made 100,000. Instead of paying out 8,750, you'd be paying out 10,750.
Okay.
But that extra £2,000 on the smaller end businesses, it's a make or break.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, it is. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal.
And especially on ones with such low profit margins.
Yeah, no, the profit margin problem is something that Karim.
I know someone that is already on, I should call it, minimum profit margin, and the extra £2,000. It's just a strain. Yeah. It's a strain.
I can believe it.
It's a simple strain.
Ahmed, Manchester, bank clerk. Does the budget meaningfully help renters and homeowners?
No.
No long explanation. No. Just no.
This one I'm still looking into myself, because obviously I'm looking to purchase a house myself. But literally,
something he's rather experted about in our area.
Because it falls in to obviously budget changes that are starting. Basically, what you hold / earn regarding anything personal, so more, obviously properties and everything else, will be increased on tax.
Jesus Christ.
So hence the reason why, if it's obviously renting is just fucking stupid at the moment anyway.
No, we know renting's horrific.
But obviously that's due to a separate issue from the budget entirely, and that's due to available housing. And obviously house prices have gone up due to the amount of houses that are available compared to demand. There's not enough houses.
No, of course not.
Demand.
The countries isn't building them enough. Especially when you've got the fact, I've said many times, we live in the infrastructure of 50 million, we have 70 million subjects. and Britain's. There are 70 million. And I mean, even if you waved a Harry Potter wand and made every brown, black person vanish, you're still 6-7 million over the 50 million infrastructure. You do not have the infrastructure to supply the white people of Britain housing, infrastructure, homes, schools and everything. We're 20 million over. We are screening every system.
Let's just put it this way. If you're planning on getting a mortgage, these days it needs to be a 2-person job.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely.
And this is coming from someone that I've had to literally be extremely smart and stick my head and screw it on massively tight to turn around and get into a position where I can afford to buy a house solo.
It's hard.
Solo. Yeah. Repeat, solo. So no one else. And even I'm still finding it hard. Yeah.
And this man works more hours than I do. And I'm in a profession that eats hours like it's breakfast. Jacob of Nottingham, accounting clerk. How does this budget differ from last year's approach?
Approach? Well, it's a completely different approach. I think last year was a soft test to what they've done today. It's a testing ground. Oh, hang on, let's see what we can do. Oh, we got away with that. Let's go for a bigger tax grab.
Jacob, you've had your answers. Hamza from Birmingham, British doctor, Muslim. What's the government's plan for managing the national debt? It concerns me.
The only thing I see is trying to control the interest rate, let alone to pay off the debt.
Jesus.
Yeah. From every aspect I look at it, all they're doing is managing the interest and not paying off the debt. And what does that remind me of? Oh, hang on, someone which is spending more than actually available. Key example. I love this example. Everyone's obviously experienced it at some point, whether it's with someone they know or yourself. You get a lovely credit card. Yeah. You're like, okay, no problem. Yeah, I'll just use it for this, and then keep paying off that keep paying it off every time the next paycheck comes through to build everything up to get a nice lovely credit rating for whatever purpose you want. Yeah. I think that's how it started when people started lending money to each other or the country and vice versa. And instead of turning around and going, oh, hang on, I paid everything else tonight, I'm balanced. I'm going to stop and I should cut up the credit card and throw it away. They keep spending beyond their means and then wonder how the fuck they got in this massive black hole. And unfortunately, it doesn't just apply to the UK. It involves every single
Western country.
All of them. I'm sorry, all the entire world's in fucking debt with each other.
I know. The debt model was built by an elitist group of people. We need to dismantle the debt system.
Oh, well, one way of dismantling it, reset it all to fucking zero. That's the only way you're going to fucking goddamn do it these days. Because by the time you turn around, built up enough money and paid that debt off, you're then waiting for someone else to turn around and pay the debt that you owe them that they owe you off, and vice versa, and this and that and everything else. You're better off just turning around and going, everyone's zero. Start again. No one's borrowing money from anyone.
Bloody hell! I think multiple advanced national models would collapse.
And no, if you was to turn around and do that, then what you got available to spend will be what was coming in from your taxes.
Last question from me, from the Muslims.
Yeah.
Fatima, housewife, Shropshire. Where there are any budget decisions that surprised you? Were there any budget decisions?
No, were there? No. The moment roughly about a month beforehand.
When the surprise stuff came out.
Yeah. Before obviously the budget, where they was turned around and literally said, "Oh, we might have to raise income tax." That's when I know for sure it was going to be a tax grab.
Yeah. Fatima basically wanted your opinion on the budget, deciding did anything directly surprise you? Was there anything that went up or down that surprised you itself?
I'm surprised they released the 2-channel benefit cap.
Okay.
I'm surprised at that.
Because of the tax grab that they've done elsewhere.
Because the tax grab, they've released that. I don't know their angle on that. There are certain things which the government have surprised me with, and there are a bunch of morons with. But regarding the budget, the thing that surprised me is releasing the 2-child benefit cap. Because
of for a tax grab, you think it's inconsistent. Is that basically what you're working at?
Yeah, literally. With obviously everything that's come out now regarding the budget, there was no black hole.
So why build a black hole? Because that's what the you're basically saying. Okay.
Yeah, there was no black hole. So literally, they lied, said there's a black hole to go for a tax grab.
Well, I've done all my questions. Is there anything else you want to add, Chris, before we wrap up for the end of the special on the budget?
Just see if there's any more main points.
Because, I mean, for me, I fundamentally find that my questions, I could have asked him about the more in-depth thing that a friend of ours gave. But I think if I did that, he might swear at me.
Is that the one that's on your screen now, the cost of
Yeah. What I was given by him. Not the questions. We've done those.
oh, come on. Let's just read it.
Tax threshold. The Chancellor's decision to extend the freeze of income tax and national insurance threshold until 2031 is expected to bring in more people into the higher tax brackets due to physical drag. How many of my fellow constituents in let's say, our constituency, he used mine specifically, we're not going to mention which one, do you estimate will be affected by these measures, and how do you justify the increased tax burden on working people? How would you justify this tax burden on working people, basically, in our area?
I wouldn't. There's no justification for it whatsoever. Because of the fact that it's designed, this thing's just a pure tax grab. And it's literally ended up on the lower end that it's going to get taxed.
Household bills and inflation. The budget, including measures to reduce household energy bills by around 150 on average from April 2026 by funding the renewable obligation, gives the OBR forecast inflation will stay higher for longer than previously expected. How much real-term impact will this have on household disposable income in all of our areas?
It's already wiping it out, and it's going to continue to dwindle it down even further.
Oh, he's attacking these ones. You know who you are. I'm not mentioning him for his own privacy. New taxes. The EV or council tax surcharge. The government is introducing a new mileage based on electrical vehicles excessive duty from April 2028 and a high value council tax surcharge on properties over 2 million. Do you believe these new taxes are fair, and how might they affect residents in most constituencies who own electrical vehicles or high value property? To be fair, most of Gloucestershire doesn't have high value property. It's a very tiny area.
That lovely incentive for them to turn around and get everyone on obviously electric vehicles
has died.
They've just wiped that incentive out straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Because of the fact, and they're only doing that because of the fact they now realise they've incentivised it and then turned around and made it so that you don't have to pay road tax on them until a certain year, because they turn around and impose that on all vehicles, and now they're trying to gain even more money by putting basically a mileage tax on those cars. So literally, where they're trying to now go net zero, they've just wiped their one good chance of actually achieving that.
Yeah, because people are not going to move to electrical cars.
It's now worked out.
Whatever incentivised there has been, has basically died for it.
It's now worked out that some people say, "Oh, it'll be cheaper." At the moment, it will be still be cheaper than just a standard road tax vehicle.
But not by 2028, it won't be.
But they'll rise that. Don't think they won't, because they will.
They will.
Yeah. And regarding obviously council tax, obviously
the 2 million house properties.
I love the way you say that, because of the fact the next figure on the video is actually that. It's you're stinging people. Yeah, you're literally going for everyone. You're going from lower end with obviously the income, and you're going for the higher end people with council tax.
But then me and you both agree, if you can't afford a mansion at 2 million, you shouldn't have a mansion. That was something we said.
It's basic thing. Obviously, if you want that £3 million house,
You got to be willing to pay for it.
Then fair play to you for turning around and getting it, but have you turned around and thought, I can't afford to run it?
Yeah, that's an important factor.
Yeah.
If you can't run it, sell it. Yeah. Don't buy it in the first place.
Because I always say, don't turn around and buy something that's going to push you beyond your means. It's like, I know for a fact when I buy a house, I can easily afford a 3-bedroom house.
If you can get one.
If I could get one. But once I bought one, I know I can afford it running it on my own. Yeah. And then I'll see if I do get a partner.
You mean vetted by the person who's had to carry you out of your other relationships? You're not getting into a relationship. I'm going to be a fucking wali for you. I'm going to find you a wife because you're fucking terrible at picking women. You are terrible at it.
No, my critiquing is turn around and going from slightly broad to freaking pinpoint. You don't fit you don't get a green tick on my boxes. Fucking luck.
Fuck. Just the nightmare stories I could mention about this man's love life.
Yeah, some of you do know. I know people that watch.
Local government funding. The Local Government Association has raised concerns that the budget does not provide enough funding for councils to ensure their financial sustainability, practically regarding pressures on services like adults and children's social care. What specific representations have you made, if you were the Chancellor, regarding local government funding? Me and you have always stated that we would centralise the tax system that would then allow each area to be given. Get rid of the Margaret Thatcher council tax. That's a key factor that me and him have always held us. So to the person who wrote this for me, and you know who I am and I know who you are, I can answer that question by itself. Me and Chris want to erase council tax. We think a central pot that then hands out by the means of each area based upon population and means testing is far better than the Margaret Thatcher failed council tax system we currently have.
Yeah, the council tax does not benefit anyone.
No, no. It allowed central government to dodge its responsibilities and give more benefits to corporate elite.
It's just ridiculous. There's no need for council tax, and at the moment, with them obviously increasing council tax surcharge, obviously for the higher end properties, it won't be long before they make that go downwards.
Absolutely. Well, I'm about done. You?
I think so.
Yeah. I think Chris might have a couple of more points, but I think after an hour and 16 minutes, I think that's pretty bloody good, relatively speaking, on the budget. Anything you want to close with, Chris?
Budget changes, 3 plans for the future. This is an interesting one. Income basic racks taxpayers for £100. So this is just basic math. For every £100 you bring in, you pay £8 national insurance, £20 tax. Set on your take home £72. This is, I believe, based on the lower end bracket. Employee pension. For every £100 you stick in, you pay £8 on national insurance.
Fucking hell.
I'm just waiting. Let the video play a bit longer. It should do the second last one. Obviously, salary sacrifice. Just waiting for the thingy to pop up. There we go. Oh, salary sacrifice pension. For whatever oh yeah. So obviously for employee pensions, for every £100 you stick in, you pay £8 national insurance. For whatever the company sticks in for you, it's nothing taxed.
Ah. I mean, that's putting lipstick on a pig, relatively speaking.
It is, yeah.
I mean, it really is. It's lipstick on a pig. I don't think that the budget is in any way, shape or form beneficial to you, me, the general blue collar working people who would watch mine and Chris's show. I think it is entirely... I
don't know, because obviously regarding the pensions, because obviously now employers are now mandated to give you the to make sure that there is a pension for you, whether you pay into it or not. The employer has to pay into it. Did you know that?
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know if that's with my company yet.
No, it's with every company. Obviously, the milestone which they start paying into that pension varies from company to company.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the moment you start paying in, even if it's early, they pay in as well. So I know some companies have a case of the fact they'll only start paying into a pension pot after a certain length of time. I'm not quite sure if that's been eliminated now and they have to turn around and do it anyway. But I've got 2 pensions. I've got my own personal pension, and I've got.
I'm starting to pay my own personal pension.
And I've got the employer pension, which
I've had to consolidate mine. I've been in so many fucking companies.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've done that. It's now all in one currently at the moment. I'm not gonna lie, it saves so much hassle having it all in one.
No, I know, absolutely. I would say that is the conclusion of our special budget. I think it has. We've had some giggles. We've had some questions. It has been a little bit nerve-wracking because I think Chris has felt a bit pressured. He did not anticipate the questions.
No, give you the answers that you need though. So.
No. He rose to the occasion, but he was a bit on the surprise situation. To all my Muslim brothers and sisters, thank you very kindly for giving me the prep work on Friday. That was very helpful for me. Took me 5 minutes on Instagram and all those questions. He spent more than a week prepping this. I took 5 minutes. Guys, help me.
You say all week, it was probably amounted to about 2 hours worth of prep. But...
Yeah, 2 hours worth of prep, but relatively speaking, he's had a week to do this, and I took 5 minutes. And then had hundreds that I sifted. Admitted it was about an hour and a half for me to actually sift through the questions. Because some questions were inappropriate, and I won't bear. It's like some of my Muslim brothers and sisters asked about jizya, which is a Muslim tax system, which I will tell you this now, you cannot apply a jizya to a system inside British modern society. I do not believe that would work. So the jizya questions that were asked of me, I was never going to put on the page because Britain is mostly a secular country. So those questions were just not going to come into the equation. But thank you all for those who have come to the end of our budget special. I am, as always, John, Shaun or Yahya, depending on who you're asking.
And Chris, hope you have a smashing day and get ready for even more giggles on our next McDonald's special.
Oh, the McDonald's special, now that's going to be hilarious. You're going to have to watch that one.
This, I'm not going to do any prep for. It's going to be pure memory.
Oh, yeah. Me and him, we're working down memory lane.
So, if you've seen this and there's any particular questions that you'd like to know about McDonald's, please.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to ask them again because this was quite well. I think this caught me and you a bit off guard. I didn't know some of these questions, to be honest. As always, we deeply appreciate everything you've done. Thank you for coming for our special on the end of season 2. Thank you for coming to the end of season 2, all 1,160 of you. We deeply appreciate it. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a lovely Christmas. We've got one more coming, and then we will be back in the new year, as always.
Season 3.
Season 3?
Three seasons of this.
I had to put up with this. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Have a lovely day.